I do just find it extraordinary that this stuff just keeps on happening. We've had a whole raft of, universities, and building, changing the names of buildings that were, named after the person who gave the money, who happened to be a slave trader, etc., etc. But I mean, this is just sort of carrying on into every aspect of our lives, isn't it? This school, Holy Trinity Church of England Primary School in Richmond, they previously had houses named after the Prime Minister and the Harry Potter author, alongside Sir David Attenborough and Emmeline Pankhurst. They decided that Winston Churchill, I mean, one of the greatest leaders of this country ever, and J.K. Rowling, one of our most successful exports, more successful authors, both being basically expunged because they think they're problematic in some way. It's quite bizarre.
You can't judge people from the past using the standards of today. If you go back 100 years ago, the vast majority of British people supported the British Empire.
Yeah.
Now they're regarded as racist. If you go back even further, anyone who was anyone had either personal or family links to the slave trade. It was the norm. So trying to judge them by today's standards is just silly and pointless. But then you've got also these really radical, extreme trans activists, who I don't think speak for the majority of trans people, who just seem to want to assimilate everyone. Resistance is futile. And if you try to resist, you're going to be cancelled.
Yeah, I mean, that attempt to cancel J.K. Rowling, really, I mean, people really do try, but she's a multi-millionaire author. People still love Harry Potter, but HBO running a major sort of 20th anniversary of Harry Potter. This is a major event, one of the most successful, books in the entire, in his book series in the entire world. And they're going to do it with all the actors, by the way. No offence, but there's lots of fantastic actors, but a lot of the child actors, average at best, with all due respect to them, who were made stars and multimillionaires by J.K. Rowling, who chose them. They're going to go and appear on this, but quite happily not have J.K. Rowling there with them because they think she's transphobic, and many of them have come out in public and said they think she's transphobic, when she has never uttered anything transphobic in her life and never tweeted anything transphobic. She has simply not wanted women to be basically erased from existence by trans activists, and simply stated, that some biological facts which are known to anybody who's done biology up to the age of 11. And yet they're trying to wipe her out of the history of Harry Potter, the creator of the books.
Well, this is the point. She is being cancelled for something that she hasn't said. And you're quite correct. I mean, those child actors, many of whom had never done a professional acting job in their lives, owe their careers and their fortunes and their fame to J.K. Rowling. And it seems incredible that you can just write out the creator of Harry Potter. Harry Potter would not exist if it wasn't for her wonderful imagination. Yeah. I mean, but it's the fact that...
I apologise. I just find it so utterly soul destroying that this can be allowed to happen. And even someone as famous and successful and rich and powerful as J.K. Rowling is, I mean, she hasn't been able to be sort of, cancelled completely. And the vast majority of people would still think she is utterly wonderful. I mean, it's the fact that this can still go on with someone as powerful as her. We see people who've got no power losing their job. We've seen, what's happened to Kathleen Stock. We've seen Maya Forstater, and and these are just the ones the cases that come to to notice. But this is happening on a wide scale.
Well, I think what we can do is either sort of shrug our shoulders and say, well, this is the way the world is today. There's nothing we can do about it, or we just fight against it, and we've got to opt for the latter. And write to your MPs.
Yeah.
If MPs get enough letters, they'll start taking this seriously. Absolutely. Ring into radio stations like Talk Radio, write to local newspapers, make your voice heard, because if enough people fight against this, I think this will go away.
Exactly.
But if we don't fight against it, it won't go away.
Absolutely. And you'll be next. That's the thing. Anyone with sensible, normal views is going to be next.